I never thought my life would come to this, standing in the ruins of everything I've built, my heart pounding like a drum in a silent, empty house. My name is Linda, and at 50, I believed I knew what love and loyalty meant, until the weight of unpaid bills and whispered secrets pushed me to the edge of a dark abyss. Picture this, a quiet suburban street, the distant hum of normalcy, while inside my little brick cage near Chicago, I'm unraveling, torn between the man I've loved for 25 years and a desperate choice that could save us or destroy us. As the walls of debt closed in, I faced a moment so unthinkable, it still burns in my chest like wildfire. What did I do to keep us afloat, and at what cost to my soul? Stick around, because the answer might shatter everything you thought you knew about me. Picture this, the faint hum of a lawnmower buzzing somewhere down the street, cutting through the heavy stillness of a late summer afternoon. That sound, it's like a tether to a world I'm slipping away from, a world I'm not sure I belong to anymore. My name is Linda, and at 50 years old, I'm standing at the edge of something I can't quite name, staring out the smudged window of a home I've poured 2 decades of my life into. This little brick house, tucked into a quiet suburban corner just outside Chicago, used to feel like a sanctuary. Now it's more like a cage, the walls closing in with every unpaid bill and every whispered argument. I've been married to Tom for 25 years. He's a good man, the kind who'd give you the shirt off his back if you needed it, but he's quiet in a way that sometimes feels like surrender. He works long hours as a warehouse supervisor, coming home with grease stains on his hands and exhaustion in his eyes. We've built a life together, a modest one, but lately, it feels like we're just holding the pieces together with trembling fingers. My own job as a part-time receptionist at a dentist's office down the road barely keeps us afloat. I sit there, answering phones and scheduling cleanings, while my mind churns over numbers that never add up. The paycheck is a trickle, and the bills are a flood. Our home, this place we've called ours for 20 years, is slipping through our grasp. The mortgage payments have piled up, missed one after another, until the weight of it feels like a stone on my chest. Debt collectors have become a constant shadow in our lives, their presence as relentless as the summer heat. The phone rings at all hours, a shrill demand that makes my stomach twist. Letters arrive almost daily, stamped with angry red ink screaming, "Urgent," as if I needed a reminder of how deep we've sunk. Tom and I, we don't talk about it much. At dinner, we push food around our plates, avoiding each other's gaze, the silence between us thicker than the gravy on the table. It's like we're both waiting for the other to say something, anything, to make it better. But there are no easy answers. The collectors, they've got names, voices that haunt me even when the phone is silent. There's Marcus, a man in his late 30s with a deep, commanding tone that cuts through any excuse I try to muster. He's stern, unyielding, the kind of person who makes you feel small just by speaking. Then there's Ethan, younger, maybe early 30s, with a slick way of talking that's almost charming if it weren't so calculated. I can hear the smile in his voice, but it's not a kind one. It's the kind that knows it's got you cornered. And Victor, in his 40s, he's the quiet one, but there's an intensity to him. Here I am, sitting at our worn-out kitchen table, the surface scratched and scarred from years of use, with bills scattered between Tom and me like a battlefield after a brutal fight. The flickering fluorescent light above us buzzes faintly, casting harsh shadows across the room, making everything feel colder, sharper. My coffee sits untouched in its chipped mug, long gone cold, mirroring the chill that settled into my bones. Tom's across from me, his hands fidgeting with the edge of a crumpled envelope, his fingers restless as if they're trying to unravel the mess we're in. He won't look at me, his eyes fixed on some invisible spot on the table, and the silence between us is suffocating. I can feel the weight of it pressing down on my chest, until finally he speaks, his voice low and defeated, like he's already lost a fight he hasn't even started. Linda, I need you to go meet with them, the debt collectors, face to face. See if you can negotiate something, an extension, a deal, anything. His words hit me like a punch, and for a moment I'm stunned, my mind racing with the thought of facing those men, the voices that already haunt me over the phone, now staring me down in person. My stomach twists into knots, but when I look into Tom's eyes, I see desperation there, a raw, pleading look that cuts right through me. I can't say no, not to him, not now. So I nod, my voice barely a whisper as I agree, even though every part of me is screaming to run from this. The next day, I'm a bundle of nerves trying to prepare myself for what's coming. I stand in front of our cracked bedroom mirror, smoothing down a navy blouse and black slacks, hoping the simple professional look will make me seem serious, composed, like I've got some kind of control over this spiraling disaster. But my hands tremble as I button the blouse, and I can't shake the feeling that I'm dressing for a battle I'm already destined to lose. The drive to their office downtown feels like a march to my own reckoning. My hands grip the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turn white, the leather creaking under my fingers as I navigate through the gray, dreary streets. The office itself is a small, dingy hole in the wall, tucked between a pawn shop and a laundromat, the kind of place that reeks of desperation even before you step inside. The faded sign above the door is barely legible, and the windows are smudged with grime, like no one's cared to clean them in years. I take a deep breath, my heart hammering in my chest, and push open the door. Inside, I meet them in person for the first time, Marcus, Ethan, and Victor. Marcus is a towering figure, easily over 6 feet, with broad shoulders that seem to fill the cramped room. His piercing stare locks onto me the moment I walk in, dark eyes that seem to bore right through me, like he's already decided I'm not worth the time it'll take to hear me out. Ethan's leaning against a desk, arms crossed, with a smirk playing on his lips that makes my skin crawl. He's got this casual air about him, but his eyes are sharp, watching my every move like a predator sizing up its next meal. And Victor, he's seated behind a cluttered desk, his face half hidden in shadow, but I can feel the weight of his gaze, heavy and unreadable. The air in the room is thick, stale, and smells faintly of old paper and something sour I can't quite place. My palms are sweaty as I clutch the folder of financial documents I brought, hoping they'll be some kind of shield, though deep down I know they're useless against men like these. Marcus clears his throat, the sound sharp and deliberate, pulling my attention back to him. He leans forward, resting his elbows on the desk, his fingers steepled as he fixes me with that unrelenting stare. "Linda," he says, his voice low and gravelly, "we've been over the numbers. You and Tom, you're in deep, real deep. But I've been thinking, maybe there's an alternative arrangement we can come to, something to ease a chunk of that debt off your shoulders." His tone is heavy, loaded with something I can't quite grasp at first, a suggestion that hangs in the air like a storm cloud ready to break. I blink, my mind racing to catch up, trying to decipher what he's getting at. My mouth feels dry, and I shift uncomfortably in the creaky chair they offered me. What kind of arrangement?" I manage to ask, my voice smaller than I'd like it to be. Ethan lets out a low chuckle from where he's standing, the sound sending a shiver down my spine. It's not a laugh of amusement, but one of knowing, like he's already in on a secret I haven't figured out yet. Then Victor speaks for the first time, his voice deep and direct, cutting through the tension like a blade. "We can make this easier for you, Linda, if you're willing to play along." My face flushes hot, a rush of blood to my cheeks, as the implication of their words slams into me like a freight train. They're not talking about money, not about payment plans or extensions. No, this is something else entirely, something personal, something I never saw coming. My heart pounds so hard I'm sure they can hear it, and a storm of emotions crashes over me all at once. Shock, sharp and electric, jolts through me, making my hands tremble in my lap. Disgust churns in my stomach, a bitter taste rising in my throat at the audacity of their suggestion. Fear creeps in, cold and gripping, whispering that I'm trapped here, cornered in this grimy office with no way out. And then, to my absolute horror, there's a flicker of something else. Curiosity, born from the sheer desperation that's been eating at me for months. I hate myself for it, for even letting that thought cross my mind, but it's there, a tiny, treacherous spark in the darkness of my mind. I think of Tom, of the defeated slump of his shoulders at our kitchen table, of the home we've fought so hard to keep, the life we've built brick by brick. The crushing weight of our debt presses down on me, heavier than ever in this moment, and I feel like I'm drowning. In a moment of weakness, I don't immediately shut them down. I don't stand up and walk out. Instead, my voice shaky and barely audible, I stammer, What exactly do you mean by that? It's a mistake. I know it the second the words leave my lips, because their eyes light up, taking my hesitation as an opening, a crack in my armor they can pry open. Marcus leans back in his chair, a slow, predatory smile spreading across his face. "Oh, I think you know what we mean," he says, his voice dripping with implication. Ethan steps closer, his presence suffocating, and adds, I'm sitting in that creaky office chair, the worn-out leather sticking to my skin, my clothes all out of sorts, hanging off me like a confession I can't take back. My mind is a storm, a chaotic mess of guilt and confusion, swirling so fast I can barely catch my breath. What have I done? How did I let it come to this? I can't even look at Marcus, Ethan, or Victor, but I feel their eyes on me, heavy as lead, pinning me in place. My hands are shaking as I fumble with the buttons of my blouse, trying to piece myself back together to cover up the shame that's burning through me. I mumble something incoherent, barely audible, about needing to get out of here to escape this suffocating room and the weight of what just happened. My voice cracks as I push the words out, desperate to flee before the reality sinks in any deeper. But before I can stand, Marcus's voice cuts through the haze, firm yet strangely gentle, like he's trying to keep me from unraveling completely. "Wait, Linda, just hold on a minute." I freeze, my heart thudding in my chest, expecting the worst. More demands, maybe threats, something to tighten the noose I already feel around my neck. I brace myself, my fingers still trembling at the edge of my blouse, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But instead of harsh words, there's a jingle of metal, a sound that pulls my gaze up despite myself. Ethan is standing there, a sly grin on his face, dangling a set of keys from his fingers like some kind of twisted prize. The light catches on the silver, glinting in a way that feels almost mocking, and I just stare, my mind struggling to make sense of it. Victor, who's been a silent shadow up until now, finally speaks, his voice low and deliberate, each word landing like a stone. "We've decided to give you something, Linda, a little gift for cooperating. It's an apartment. Small, nothing fancy, but it's paid off, in a decent part of town, all yours." My mouth goes dry, the words hitting me like a slap I didn't see coming. An apartment? A gift? I can't wrap my head around it. Why would they do this? What's the catch? My eyes dart between the three of them, searching for the trap I know must be there, but their expressions are unreadable. Ethan's smirk, Marcus's steady gaze, Victor's quiet intensity. I don't know what to say, my throat tight with a mix of disbelief and dread. Marcus leans forward, his tone shifting to something colder, more calculated. "Think of it as a token of appreciation, but also a reminder. We take care of those who play by our rules, and we expect you to keep this arrangement between us." There it is, the subtle threat woven into the reward, a velvet glove over an iron fist. My silence, my compliance, bought with a set of keys and a roof over my head. I feel the weight of their expectations settle over me, heavier than ever, as Ethan steps closer and drops the keys into my open palm. The metal is cold against my skin, almost biting, and I close my fingers around them, my mind racing with questions I don't dare ask. What does this mean for me, for Tom, for the life we've been clinging to by a thread? I don't remember much of how I got out of that office, just the blur of standing, muttering some kind of hollow thank you, and stumbling to my car. The keys are in my purse now, but I can feel them there, burning a hole through the fabric, a constant reminder of the choice I made and the price I paid. The drive home is a fog, the streets of Chicago passing by in gray streaks as I grip the steering wheel, my knuckles pale from the tension. My mind is a battlefield, torn between the crushing guilt of what I've done and this strange, bitter relief that comes with the apartment. It's a safety net, isn't it? A fallback if everything else crumbles. But at what cost? How can I look Tom in as I pull into the driveway? The familiar crunch of gravel under the tires feels like a warning, a signal that I'm stepping back into a life I've just shattered with my own hands. My heart is pounding so hard it's like a drum in my chest, each beat echoing the guilt that's clawing at me from the inside. I sit there for a moment, gripping the steering wheel, staring at the little brick house that's been my world for 2 decades. The porch light flickers weakly, casting a dim glow over the peeling paint of the front door. I can feel the weight of those apartment keys in my purse, heavy as a stone, a secret I'm not sure I can carry, but I have to. I have to walk in there and face Tom, pretend everything's okay, even though I've crossed a line I can't uncross. I step out of the car, the late afternoon air cool against my flushed skin, and make my way to the door. My legs feel like they're made of lead, each step slower than the last, as if my body is begging me to turn back, to run from what's waiting inside. The door creaks as I push it open, a sound that's always been there, but today feels like an accusation. The faint smell of dinner, something simple, maybe spaghetti, still lingers in the air, a reminder of the normalcy I've betrayed. The floorboards groan under my weight as I step into the living room, and there he is. Tom sitting on the couch, a beer in his hand, the TV flickering with some old game show he's not really watching. He looks up at me, his eyes tired but hopeful, a spark of something like trust that cuts me to the core. "Hey, Lynn," he says, his voice rough from a long day. "How'd the meeting go?" I freeze. My mouth opens, but no words come out at first. The keys in my purse feel like they're burning a hole through the fabric, through me, a physical reminder of the choice I made in that grimy office. My mind races back to those moments, the way I let myself fall into something I can't even name out loud, a desperate act cloaked in shadows, a bargain struck in whispers and shame. I can still feel the weight of their gazes, the way I traded a piece of myself for a lifeline. And now, standing here in front of Tom, I can't breathe. My chest tightens, a vice squeezing the air out of me, and my palms are slick with sweat, slipping as I clutch my purse tighter to keep my hands from shaking. It went okay, I stammer, my voice cracking like thin ice underfoot. I can't meet his eyes, can't bear to see that hope in them when I know what I've done. I look at the floor instead, at the worn-out rug we've walked over 1,000 times together. I managed to buy us some time. They agreed to a temporary extension. The lie tastes bitter on my tongue, sharp and sour, but I force it out anyway. I can't tell him the truth, not about the apartment, not about the cost of getting it, not about the way I let myself be pulled into a moment of weakness, a transaction that left me hollowed out, a shell of the woman he married. Tom lets out a long breath, a sound of relief that stabs me deeper than any knife could. "That's good, Lynn. That's real good. We'll figure out the rest, yeah?" I can hear the weight lifting off his shoulders, see it in the way his face softens, the lines of worry smoothing out just a little. And it's that relief, that trust that breaks me. I nod, mumbling something about needing a minute, and turn away before he can see the tears prickling at the corners of my eyes. My feet carry me down the hall to the bathroom, the familiar creak of the floorboards following me like a ghost. I shut the door behind me, turning the lock with a trembling hand, and lean against the sink, my breath coming in short, ragged gasps. I force myself to look in. It's been a few weeks since that day in the office, the day that changed everything, and I'm still trying to find my footing in this new, fragile reality I've carved out for myself. I'm Linda, and at 50, I thought I knew what my life was supposed to be. But now, I'm living in a world of half-truths, balancing on a tightrope I don't know how to cross. Tom and I are still scraping by, our finances a constant shadow over every decision, every breath. The bills still come, relentless as ever, but at least the phone has stopped ringing off the hook. The collectors, Marcus, Ethan, Victor, they've backed off for now, their voices no longer haunting my every waking moment. It's a small mercy, a temporary reprieve, but it's something. I cling to it like a lifeline, even as I know it's built on a foundation of sand. I haven't told Tom about the apartment. I can't. The secret sits heavy in my chest, a weight I carry with every step, every glance I steal at him when he's not looking. I've been there once, just once in secret. I drove out to the address they gave me, my hands trembling as I turned the key in the lock for the first time. The place is small, barely more than a shoebox, tucked into a nondescript building on the edge of the city. The walls are a faded beige, the kind of color that's meant to be neutral but just feels lifeless. There's a single window in the main room, looking out over a sprawl of rooftops and distant skyscrapers, the Chicago skyline a jagged silhouette against the gray sky. It's sparsely furnished, a creaky twin bed with a thin mattress, a rickety table with two mismatched chairs, a lamp that flickers if you don't twist the bulb just right. It's not much, but it's mine, in a way nothing else feels like anymore. Standing there staring out that window, I felt this strange mix of emotions. Relief because it's a safety net if everything falls apart, but also entrapment because it's a reminder of the price I paid to get it. It's both a lifeline and a cage, a place that holds my shame as much as it offers escape. Every day the guilt gnaws at me, a relentless ache that I can't shake. I betrayed Tom in a way I never thought I could, in a moment of desperation that I can't undo. I think back to that office, to the choice I made, the way I let myself be pulled into something dark and unspoken, a transaction that left me hollow. I can't even put words to it in my own mind, but the memory lingers, a shadow that taints every smile I force, every word I speak to him. And yet, that apartment, it represents a strange kind of security. If our marriage crumbles, if the debts swallow us whole, I have somewhere to go. It's a backup plan, a cold comfort, but it's there. I hate myself for even thinking that way, for considering a future where I might need to run, but the thought creeps in anyway, unbidden, in the quiet moments when I'm alone with my fears. Marcus has called a few times since then, his voice on the line a jarring intrusion into the fragile routine I've tried to build. His tone is always professional, clipped, asking if I've settled in, if I need anything for the place. But there's an undercurrent to it, a familiarity that makes my skin crawl, a reminder of the power they still hold over me. I keep my responses short, my voice tight, trying to keep that distance between us. But I can feel the weight of his expectations through the phone. It's like he's checking in not just on the apartment, but on me, on the unspoken agreement that binds us. Each call leaves me rattled, my hands shaking as I hang up, my mind racing with the fear that this isn't over, that they'll ask for more, that I've only delayed the inevitable. I've changed in ways I didn't expect. I'm more guarded now, even with don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.